Hi there everyone, this is a tutorial for an origami pumpkin as it is nearing to Halloween, so I thought it would be a good model to show. Now as you can see, I've taken an A4 sheet of paper and I've split it into the square, and then I've taken the excess and just coloured half of it green, as that will be sort of the stem and this will be the main body of the pumpkin. So let's put that away for now and we'll focus on this square. So if you have coloured paper, that would be great. If not, you can always just colour it in like I have done here. So what we want to do is we want to start with our white side up. And the first fold you want to make is actually one that's already been done on my thing here, just because I have used an A4 sheet. But if you're using just a standard square sheet of origami paper, then all you'll have to do is make a diagonal fold from corner to corner, just line it up nicely and flatten, just like so. And that will be your first fold. And just make sure it's nice and sharp. You can just use your nail to run along that crease. Now we're going to repeat with the other diagonal. So just again, take this corner, line it up nicely with the opposite corner and just a crease along, just like so. Making sure you get a nice crease. The sharper your crease is, sort of the more shapely your final model will be. So then we'll unfold that. So we'll have that X here. Now we're going to turn over onto our coloured side and we're just going to fold edge to edge, just straight across like so. Just lining it up nicely, each corner, and a crease. Should look something like that. Now unfold, and we're going to do again what we just did, edge to edge on the opposite side. And crease. So you should have both diagonals and down and across. So now you want to flip over back to your white side up, and you'll notice that the center might just sort of pop out slightly, and what you want to do is just push into it and grab either side and bring them in, and it will make a water bomb base. So it should look a little something like this. You should have 4 flaps and in a nice triangle shape. Now I will repeat that step just in case you've never made one before. So perhaps I'll show it this way this time. So you want to bring either side down into the middle and it should just collapse nicely. Just like so. Now the next step is to take, well, I would first just make sure that you have 2 on either side. Your next step would be just to take any corner and bring it up to this top point, your closed point at the top. So just like so, bring it up, line it up with the top corner and flatten that crease down. And it should look a little something like this. Now, do the same with the other side. You can just line it up with that fold that you just made as well. So get that corner lined up and crisscross. Now we're going to repeat on the other side. So again, just take either corner you want to start with, line it up with the closed point and just flatten. And then do the same with the last remaining flap. Just bring it up, line it up with that edge, and flatten that fold. Now it should look a little something like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this corner here of just one of the flaps, and we're going to bring it to meet the middle of this sort of square shape. So just grab a flap and just bring it into the middle. You should be able to just sort of guess where the center would be. Don't worry if it's not exactly in the center, something like that. And then you can just bring the other flap on the other side to meet the same point. Just so those 2 points align, then you can flatten it down, just like so. Now repeat on the other side, and I will just make sure that they're lined up with the ones in the back, so you do have a uniform shape. So again, just sort of guess where the middle is, line it up with the one behind it, and just give it a nice crease. And then the other one will be a little easier, as you can just line it up with the point. And there you go. Now you'll notice at the top, you'll have 2 flaps and 2 flaps. Now at the top, you'll notice that you'll have 2 flaps on either side. Now this bit might be a little bit fiddly, but bear with me. So on the same side as the open flaps, you're just going to lift that fold you just made, and you should be able to open it up and reveal a little pocket just like so. So if you want to just put your finger in it, just to make it a little bit easier to access. And what you're going to do is you're going to take one of the flaps and you're going to slide it into that pocket. So just take it and slide it into the pocket. And then when it's gone decently far in, you can just kind of flatten it back down. And it will look a little something like this. You can fold this sort of excess piece in as well, but that might make your pumpkin look a little bit more square than round. So I tend to just leave this bit out. So all you want to do is open that pocket. It can be a little bit fiddly, as you can see. Get your finger inside it. Sorry if this is a little bit difficult to see, but just get that pocket open and get that flap tucked inside. And just sort of roll it in with your finger. And then when you think it's gone far enough in, just give it a nice crease down and make sure everything's flat. And again, there'll be a little bit of excess, which is fine. Now you're going to flip over and we're going to repeat on the other side. So again, just opening that pocket, grabbing hold of the flap, tucking it in, just like so, and then flattening it down. Like that, and one last one. Open up the pocket, grab the flap, push it down into the pocket, and flatten. And just make sure all your edges are nice and sharp. Now, if you open up either side, you should find that you'll get 2 blank faces. And if you wanted to at this point, you could draw a little face for your pumpkin on here, which I might do towards the end. But to shape your water bomb or your pumpkin, what you'll notice is on one of the points, you'll have a closed point, which this point is closed, and then you'll have a slightly open point. There'll be a small opening. And what you want to do is just hold it open, sort of like this, and you can gently pull it apart just to open that space a little bit more, and you'll want to blow inside, so you are going to inflate this. So I will just do that now quickly. Just like so. And there is your water bomb. Again, you can just use your fingers to shape it however you like. You want to aim for sort of a pumpkin shape. Now, this is sort of the main part complete. Now, you can just pop that to one side. Now we want to make the stem. So I've already colored in the half that I'll need. If you did just use a regular square sheet paper, then any small rectangle will do. But for this instance, if you did use an A4, then just half of the remaining paper after you've taken that square out. And I'm just going to rip off the other half that I won't need. Just like that. Now, white side up. This can be a little bit tricky and a little bit fiddly, but we're going to start with one corner, and what you're going to do is just very carefully fold the corner over ever so slightly until you can almost roll it. So it might get a little fiddly to begin with, but once you have a good pinch on it, it should just want to roll naturally. There we go. And just make sure you keep it nice and tight as you roll it. Just like so. Don't worry about it being maybe too long. We can always just tuck in the rest, but you do just want to make sure it is nice and tight. So you'll have sort of a tube, a green tube if you use coloured paper. Now, what you can do at this point is just shape this tube into sort of a stem shape. So what I like to do is just take this top and just sort of curl it down. And if you've seen some pumpkins, they do have, you know, sometimes a bit of a twist in their stem. So I like to just twist the end bit so it sort of looks a little bit like this. But this is really to taste. You can shape yours however you want. And then what you can do is in that same gap that you blowed your air into, you can just tuck this in and you'll have a cool looking pumpkin. Let's just make that a little bit more twisty, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And there you are. There's your Halloween pumpkin. And here's my attempt at drawing a little pumpkin face for the Halloween spirit. So I hope you guys were able to fold your very own pumpkin, and I hope you have a good Halloween.